Strong people are harder to kill and are generally more useful. Now, that's a pair of statements that, when you look at them closely, are very, very true. And we mean in a wide variety of ways. Now, a lot of times people say, okay, well, I get it, maybe in a fight or a struggle, but, strength doesn't matter in a fight. Yeah, only an idiot thinks that. Every fighting sport on earth has weight classes for a reason. Okay, you don't put John Jones in an MMA match with a guy who weighs 140 pounds, no matter how skilled they are. It's not going to end well. He's stronger. People say, no, he's bigger. He weighs. No, he's stronger. That's what the weight class does. It lets you have more muscle. If you're stronger and you have the same amount of skill, you have an enormous, mind-boggling advantage. Okay, but let's talk about everything else. Falling downstairs. Stronger people don't break bones and get hurt as easy doing stuff. In fact, most causes of death for the elderly are largely related to sarcopenia or loss of muscle. Injuries they get as a result of not having strong bones and strong muscles, because that's part of it too, right? Strong bones. If you guys seen my DEXA scans, you know what my bone density looks like in my 40s. It is off the charts. Because not that many strength athletes get, DEXA scans for comparison. So when we do, guess what? Our bones are the densest thing the techs have ever seen. We're outliers because weightlifting and heavy lifting gives you high bone density. That is a medical fact. Scientifically verifiable. Not even subject to debate. We have stronger, denser bones. That means we get broken less easily. Does that include everything? Yeah, it includes car wrecks. If your bones are twice as strong as someone else's and you get into a car wreck that crushes and mangles you, you still have a higher chance of living. Now, you might not be strong after that. You might not ever train again. You have a higher chance of living. How about even breaking your neck? How about big, strong trap muscles? Strong spine, good bone density all through your spine, which can include the neck, and you're less likely to break your neck. It can still happen, but let's come back over to the point. Strong people are harder to kill. In other words, it takes more force applied to break us. It's harder. I'm not saying it's impossible. Right? We're not Superman. But if you have more muscle to try to get through, a person can brace better, can handle themselves better. Their organs are more protected by strong bones, strong muscle, bone density. Their bones break far, far less easily. We're just less likely to die from impacts, cuts, even gunshots. There's some data out there on that. Muscle and bone density helps somewhat with that, right? Somewhat. It does help slightly. It comes down to that point of, if you have a 10% higher chance of living, that's a good thing. Then we come to everything else: cancer, diabetes, heart disease. All right, strength training reduces all those. Now, when I say strength training, I don't mean every person who is insanely strong has all of these benefits. Why? Because if you get really, really, really fat because you bulk to 400 pounds and you inject anabolic drugs by the liter, okay, yeah, you're going to be strong, but there's going to be some health consequences that will offset a lot of that, right? A person who's 400 pounds and abuses heavy amounts of anabolics may not be that healthy, okay? And I don't think that's reaching far for most of us. Say, yeah, they're probably not as healthy as they could be. They have lost a lot of their advantages of being strong when it comes to health, but not all of them. They haven't lost all of them. Keep that in mind. But they've lost a lot of them. There's health consequences to that. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about strength in general. Just getting really strong. You'll live longer. Right? Doubles your chances of surviving cancer. 70% lower diabetes. Those like the number 2 and 3 killers in America. Heart disease being number 1. Well, strength training helps with heart disease. That's documented in the literature. And then we start going down the road. People say, oh, well, accident. Well, again, we come back over to the accidents. Yeah, that's covered too. Doesn't mean you're immortal. Doesn't mean you're Superman. But you are harder to kill. And you're sure harder to kill in a physical struggle. Not impossible, it's just more difficult. And People are less likely to tangle with you. They're less likely to tangle with you. In fact, what I mean by that, people don't start things with you when you look strong. And that's kind of one of the funny things that I think people forget. Like, I don't always know how to deal with people on the internet because I have no concept of rudeness. So what do you mean? You know how people are rude to some of you in real life? Like at certain places, people will be rude. They might mouth off at you. They might raise their voice at you in a public setting. Like someone might, right? I don't have that type of life experience. I don't know what that's like. That's an internet thing. Like if people didn't tell me and I didn't see it on TV and see it happen to other people, I would think that was something that only happens on the internet, that people talk trash to you on the internet. People don't do that in the real world. Well, when you look like you're strong, they don't generally want to do that. They just don't. So people leave you alone. But back to the other point, strong people are more useful. How about we come back over to that other point? People are less likely to mess with you when you're hanging out with someone who looks strong. They're less likely to harass you or give you problems. Strong people are useful to have around even when they're not doing anything but just hanging out. Someone who you know is strong, and we know the difference between looking like a bodybuilder per se or looking aesthetic and looking strong. They're two very different things. I'm far from the prettiest guy you'll ever see, but anyone who sees me knows, yeah, dude's pretty strong. Should be hard to figure out I deadlift over 600 pounds. Don't have to be pretty. And no one cares about that in that regard. They're just like, that dude looks strong and capable. I'm going to leave the group of people he's hanging out with alone. We're deterrents by default, automatically, when we're doing nothing to help you. Then we come around to just being more useful. Anytime someone needs help with anything, they ask a strong person. Even when you're at your job, even if you have an office job and the boss or whoever comes to you and says, hey, I need someone to come over and help, who's going to get asked? When the woman in the office needs something moved or her desk moved or whatever, who does she go to? The strong, capable looking person. Or it might even be a strong woman. There's some strong chicks out there. I know plenty. Of course, that's my world. In the strength world. I know women who deadlift over 300 pounds. Right? Plenty of them. I know plenty of you guys out there haven't reached that yet, even though you lift a little bit. Right? I know 115 pound, 120 pound girls who lift over 300 pounds. So it includes them too. Right? We'll be fair about it. Be inclusive. Strong people are more useful. They are more useful. In any situation where something just needs to be moved or sorted or people need protection, or to feel safe, strong people are more useful. And what happens when everyone does have to do stuff? Let's say you do have to help someone move. Everyone gets tied in to help do something. The stronger person has an easier time of it. We know that based upon data out there that lifting weights makes you better at even endurance things. It makes you better at manual labor. Why? Because you're stronger, because it's sub-maximal work. It's an easier amount of your total exertion. The reason endurance athletes do squats, it makes them better at endurance. It makes you better at work. It makes you better at just getting things done. You're just all around more useful. Strong people are more useful to others. You have a higher use, a higher utility, a higher value. Now, I'm not saying that a weak person has no value as a person, because people will jump in and they get so defensive. Oh my God, well my friend, he's been injured and he's not that strong and he has physical issues. Are you saying he's useless? No. I'm not saying that at all. Not implying that at all. That's again your stupidity. Because people do this to me all the time. I make statements and they come in with stupidity and it's just like, you're an idiot. I don't have time for it, Bob. It's Friday. And we're talking about strength. Piss off with your weak-ass, weird, bizarre, extreme exceptions. No one cares. Everyone out there who has any life experience knows stronger people are generally just more useful to have around. Okay? Across the board. Doesn't matter whether you need to feel safe or you need to have something picked up and moved. right? It's good to be strong. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.